Talk to me, Michelle. On the street lights on the corner. City vibes got a story. Feel the beat, don't ignore me.
What's up, everybody? Another episode live and in living color is Talk to Me, Michelle. 1L, everybody. And I am so glad you are able to join me for this great episode that we got coming up. I want everybody to break out your notepads before I even bring our guest on. Break out your notepads because you're going to want to take some notes if you are trying to get your brand popping. Now, I ran across my guest on social media. Out of curiosity, I started tapping into her videos, and it's hard to turn away from videos that you are learning new knowledge, new stuff I didn't even know about. So let me express to you how important it is for social media branding. Everybody uses it. And if you have a purpose for your social media, you want to make the best of it. You don't want to waste time with these gimmicks. Nicky Saunders is a major social media influencer, brander, and I don't know any other lady that got as many sneakers as she do. Okay, she got a collection that will put some of these brothers to shame. But Nicky is a awesome person. She has worked with so many people, many names in the industry, and she has helped each and every last one of them get that influence going, get the brand going. So let me welcome, without further delay, our guest, Miss Nicky Saunders. What's going on, Nicky? See, look at the
What's
sneakers.
poppin'?
Look at the sneakers. That's what I'm
I
talking
got
about.
like 7. I got like 7. Don't do that. I got
Girl,
like
please.
7.
Unless you got a backdrop with just sneakers, you got a good backdrop.
Nah. Hey,
How you doing?
thank you. I'm amazing. How are you?
I am fine. But I just learned the other day that we have something in common. We're both
What's up?
introverts.
Come on. Come
Okay.
on.
Both introverts. I don't like dealing with too much. I like to be
Yeah.
right in my space doing what I can. But you hit home on that, but I'm gonna tap on that just a little bit later on in our
Oh,
conversation.
good. Yeah.
But Nicky, first of all, thank you for coming on because I know you got a crazy schedule.
Yeah, yeah.
And number two, you have given so much success to people who are trying to brand their social media.
Mm.
How did you first get interested in doing this type of work?
It kind of fell in my lap, right? So I was I was a fan of Dr. Eric Thomas, aka ET the hip hop preacher.
Mhm.
I joined his community, went to like every single event, just volunteering, right? Adding any type of value that I can, whether it was like taking people to their seats, getting people food, whatever it could be, taking videos. But I did find the gap as far as like, A, you have a community and they're not getting any type of content when you're live. Let me start doing lives for you. Let me start posting videos for you and inside of the community. And then they were like, yo, you want to take over the social media? And I was like, sure, why not? Right.
There you go.
And so I took his, social media from the Instagram in particular, 300K to 2.2 million. We're about to hit 2 million on Facebook, and we about to go 1.5 mil on YouTube. And so then as I'm growing it, people were like, yo, how do you do it? And started just asking me questions. And I was like, okay, let me share that. I went more on live than anything before than the post. And it just caught fire, especially during the pandemic. And we here now, kind of thing.
Yeah. And like I said, the gifts that you bring to
Mhm.
everybody because social media can be such a complex thing.
Absolutely.
And you were able to, just navigate your way through and basically find out all the secrets that we need to be knowing if we're going to be influencers of any kind on social media.
Yes, ma'am.
But you started this career, and I want to know because social media is tricky. What were your key challenges during this journey?
Getting out, get in front of the camera. That was one of the things, because I'm a behind the scenes person as
Right.
well. Like we said, I'm an introvert.
Yeah.
So what I know as being a behind the scenes person is like we do so well for others. We
Yes.
can we can come up with an idea for others. We can set things up in the systems and create all this stuff. But when it comes to us, it's like, oh, you know what I mean? I just drew a blank, right? So finding that comfortable spot that will
Mm.
allow me to show up every single day was one of the challenges. Figuring out my voice was another challenge. I mean, I'm an only child,
Yeah.
so it's not like, and I'm an only child of a mom who kept me very safe and sheltered. So it's not
Gotcha.
like I was used to talking all the time, making it not necessarily about me, but like when you look at social media, you look at certain people like, oh, they got it together. They do like I struggled in the beginning trying to figure out like what is my voice, what is my tone that doesn't necessarily make me sound like everybody else,
Yeah.
but makes me sound me. And so that took a bit, right? But once I figured out like my tone, my style, my content style, everything started to kind of trickle in. Everything else was just data driven. It was like, okay, these people like this, let me talk more about this. You
Right.
know, the platform likes this, okay, let me do more about that. If I could figure out what the platform likes and what the people like, and then add a little bit of me testing out what I want to do,
Yeah.
then this all makes sense after a while. But I got like it was really a me issue of why I wasn't consistent in the beginning, a me issue, why I necessarily didn't want to go on camera, I didn't want to post all the time. It was a me issue
Yeah.
because I didn't understand how I wanted to show up on social media.
That makes a lot of sense because when you're trying to navigate, and I'm like, I feel exactly what you're saying. Like, I don't want to be in front of the camera because I just recently added the video element to this podcast. It was strictly audio, but I was like, I
Yeah,
got to get in front of the camera if I'm going to make an impact.
yeah,
So that is a challenge for you. But now that you're helping others, what
right.
is the key thing people should know about you when you say, look, Nikki, I need you to help me on my brand?
Hmm.
What do clients need to understand about how you work?
Details are important, right? So the same way that I had to discover who I am, I need people to discover who they are
Yeah.
before. And I think this is for anybody. Before you go to a strategist, before you go to a creative, even let's say an editor, graphic designer of any sort, you got to know what to give them. What is the vision? Who are you? Right? Because what I'm not a fan of, and any creative could tell you, like anybody of service, hey, I need this. Okay, cool. Tell me more about I haven't figured all that out, but I trust you. No, don't do that. I mean, like,
No,
don't
I'm
do
not here
that.
for that. Yeah.
No, please. Well, because here's the thing. It's we have we are trying to figure out who you are in a matter of a couple of seconds, meetings, or whatever. And so it's
Mhm.
my perception of what I see of you,
Right.
right? And 9 out of 10 times, that's normally wrong because you see your brand, your vision in a different way, right? So, whatever is being submitted or suggested, you're like, that's not necessarily, and it makes the work harder,
Yeah.
right? So there's just things as we get like really figuring out like what type of help that I need, like from my content, from like the direction that I need with my social media presence. I really got to figure out just the basics of like, who am I serving? Like, what is the audience and what is the transformation that I really provide?
Yeah.
Everything else is easy after I know, okay, yo, like, are you an introvert? Are you an extrovert? Like, I'm not going to tell you off top if you're an introvert to go do videos.
Right.
That doesn't make sense, right? I'm not going to tell you if you're an extrovert off top, yo, go on LinkedIn and do articles. Go do threads and do tweets. Like I'm not going to tell you that, because that's the opposite of who you are. And 9 out of 10 times we're doing the opposite of who we are, and that's why we can't be consistent. So I
Mhm.
think it's just more of understanding who we are before we go and get help. Who do we serve before we go get help? Like, what is the transformation that we're truly having before we go get help?
Yeah, and I mean, because I deal with independent clients on another level, and I'm always asking the same questions: What is
Mhm.
the outcome? What do you want to come across to your audience?
Mhm.
And I never really calculated that with social media, because I'm just like, well, put a post up here and there, and we should be all right. But that's not the energy I need to be advising my clientele when it
Yes.
comes to that.
That's, that's exactly not what you're supposed to be doing.
But now that you've got a brand, I mean, people know you. I just saw a video where people are on stage confessing how much you've helped them learn
Yeah.
how to navigate social media.
Yeah.
So I definitely would like to get to the top strategies that you like
Mhm.
to suggest for people when it comes to creating this type of content.
Yeah. You want to get into it now, or that was the leading question?
Oh no, that was the leading
Okay,
question.
that was the leading question. All right.
Yeah.
You were like, I would really like to get to. I was like, oh, good. We can talk about it later. Okay, cool. No, 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 no. Okay, so I mean, one, picking the platform that you want to be on. I think one of the myths is that you have to be on all platforms, depending on which person you talk to. You know what I mean? Like, people are like, be on all of them uh for the best brand awareness, and you don't know what's going to hit, so you might as well put. Now, there is a bit of truth to that. That is more on, a when you have a team, you could be everywhere.
Right.
Or if you have the right systems, you could be everywhere. But if you don't have of that, like 9 out of 10 times I deal with a lot of solopreneurs, team of one, right? And it's them, right? Yeah, it's them.
Hmm.
So I always suggest for those who are a team of one, concentrate on one and repurpose on the others, right?
Right.
So you can go wild and earn the following that you deserve on one platform, and then if it hits on the other ones, praise God. Until you can have a team that can definitely strategize on these different platforms.
Yeah.
But for now, it goes, all right, what is the platform that you're most comfortable on? Right? Because social media is very uncomfortable. Well,
Yes.
what social media platform are you comfortable on? Because that's going to allow you to be consistent. What are you going to use the play system, which is platform, leverage, audience, and you? Meaning, how do you play the platform game? What does the platform want? How are you leveraging the different features that it has, such as trending audios, text, and everything, to enhance that reach? What does the audience want, right? So that going through your data and seeing what they engage with the most, and what do you want, right? And going in that way to see what has been working. What are the numbers of the content that's been working, to then use the top numbers and put it on different platforms. Not every one deserves like to go on these different platforms. Let's use data to really, like, yo, this has worked here, it could work over here. Maybe I
Right.
just got to change it up a little bit as far as the captions, but that could work over here. So I get the whole, yeah, let's be on everything, and eventually, absolutely. But you're going to weigh yourself thin if you concentrate on being on all platforms too early. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, too early doesn't make sense. Like, secure your names. Absolutely. Secure your usernames on all social media platforms. You want that. Um, but that, I will say that. Now, another thing is, going back to the platform one, you have to understand that each piece of content has a purpose. Okay? So just because you did a fire video, fire post of some way, shape, or form,
Right.
it's not going to get, not all of them are going to get brand awareness, followers, engagement, and conversions all at the same time. We love that. That would be amazing. But
Yes.
9 out of 10 times, this post has brand awareness goals. This post has all engagement posts. This is the one that I want the most comments, the most likes. I want them to have the most shares. This one is going to have the conversions,
Right.
right? So if you've ever noticed, for those, like for yourself or anybody who posts like flyers or a launch of something, it has the worst engagement. Has the worst. It's like low views, low comments, no shares. It's just bad half the time, right?
Yeah.
Especially my people uh who post about flyers, right? Who do the flyers joint.
Yes.
Uh but then at the same time, if you look at the clicks to your website, clicks to the link in your bio, you're going to see some,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
If there's a sale, you then it was worth it. So it may not have the numbers that you want from a social standpoint, but it was there for a conversion standpoint and it did just that, right?
Gotcha.
So, but we get discouraged because we're like, that's not working. And I'm like, did it get you a sale? Yeah, but like I got like 2 likes and one of the people bought. What's the
Right.
problem?
Yeah.
Right? Like this is a free platform. This is free advertisement. So I look at, always make sure that when you post, you know that you're posting for a purpose and you know the goal that it's supposed to do. And you're not getting discouraged of like, because we get mixed up with goals. So we
Yeah.
will change up a whole way a content piece is because it didn't get uh comments, but it was only meant to get reach and get more followers, right?
Right.
Now, if it does all of that, praise God. But we just have to look at those things the same way for those people who run ads. You know, there's different goals when you run ads. You can't have multiple goals. You like, this is a a views goal. This is a conversion joint. This is like whatever, a reach one, whatever you want to do. So that's very important. And then, I mean, I'm gonna leave this one last because it's typical, but the consistency is everything. And consistency doesn't necessarily mean every single day,
Yeah.
right? Consistency means the commitment that you made to be in front of your audience.
Yeah.
So if we expect you every Friday night, we should see you every Friday night,
Right.
you know? If you do more, praise God, but we expect you every Friday night because you said
Mhm.
that. And though the viral moments are amazing, right? For those who get that,
Yeah.
consistency beats viral every single time, right?
I
Every
agree.
single time.
Yeah.
A person can get 1 million views, but then go right back down to 200 and don't know how to get those millions back, or may never get those millions back, right? That's
Mhm.
not their norm. But I'm cool with, if you get 1 million one time and then 200 the rest, and I know how to get 5K every single solitary time. Sometimes it goes up to 10, sometimes it goes up to 30, sometimes it goes up to 50, maybe sometimes it goes up to 100, but I can go boom, boom, boom. Like consistency is what blew up many brands,
Yeah.
many, many, many brands. It's not, oh, they went viral, cool. 9 out of 10 times, those brands that have gone viral, you really don't hear much of that. Though the people that go viral, you don't really hear much about them, right?
That's
Like
true.
we're already done with the Haktui chick. You know what I mean? Like we're done with her. Like she got a podcast, praise God. She's leveraging what
Right.
she got. But we're done with a lot of things that go viral, and it may go viral for a day, it may go viral for a week, but I rather know that my numbers are consistently growing. And though sometimes that's a slow burn,
Yeah.
it's about longevity. Like, I'm not just trying to be important for a day, for a week, or
Hmm.
I'm not even just trying to get views if it doesn't bring no money in the bank account. I
That's a
mean, because
solid.
yeah, no, it's true. 9 or 10 times when people go viral, they're not ready for that.
It comes out of
So,
nowhere. Yeah.
so we have to really ask ourselves, okay, I know I want the followers. Yo, I want more followers. I want more followers. Absolutely. I want more views. I want more views. But would you be ready for all that? Maybe the number of followers and the number of views that you have right now is because you're ready for that. Maybe because the systems that you have, the links that you have, the payment situations that you have is ready for only the amount of followers and the amount of views that you have. Once you level that up, once you fill in the gaps of your back end of getting your brand systems correct, then now more and more people will come in. That it works kind of that way, but you have to look at, when we're looking at numbers of like, Nikki, I want more followers. Absolutely. I
Right.
think everybody wants more followers. That's great. The more that we can impact, the more that the possibilities of getting our products and services shown and being able to convert that, praise God. Like, that's what we want.
Yeah.
However, are we ready for that? That's the important thing. And in each step that we do, from figuring out our brand messaging, figuring out who we are, figuring out our audience, their pain points, how are we really truly being the transformation, and how are we taking that, all that information, and putting it out to the world through content, right? On a
Hmm.
consistent basis, then
Right.
it's like, okay, cool. But some of us just don't know how to work on messaging. Your products don't suck. It's just you don't know how to message it right to the masses. That's it.
That's a valid point. I've seen many scenarios like that. I'm like, it's a good product, but the way you're presenting it, this ain't hitting home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's
Yeah.
definitely. But that's also another question I got for you, because everybody's trying to make this social media work for them,
Yeah.
but some people may view it as we're a little oversaturated, and some people have
Yeah.
that attitude.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you have that kind of mindset, okay, well, how can I stand out from everybody else?
Just by being you. But here's, like, this is the cycle. We get on these platforms, right? And we look at so many people because it's brand new. So we're looking and we're looking. We're like, okay, they're doing it this way. Do I have to do it this way to get these types of numbers? And so we end up being carbon copies of
Yes.
other people, not necessarily on purpose, is because
Hmm.
we are here to try to figure out what works. Some people stay there. But what's the great thing about, like, who we are, we were all uniquely made. And so that does transfer to the brands that we create, the products and services that we create, and the content that we create. So
Hmm.
as long as we are, and this is why I started with understanding who you are, right? Because as long as we truly understand that, like, yo, we already stand out, right? Like our swag, our vibes, the way, our mannerisms, the way that we dress, the way that we talk, our tone, our accent, everything like that is different
Yeah.
than anybody else. It may have some similarities, but it's different in the way that we articulate what we're doing. We're showing you in a different perspective and a different view than what others may. Maybe it's in a more an aggressive way. Maybe it's a more uh like more low key kind of way. Maybe it's
Hmm.
a super in your face extrovert way. Maybe it's a behind the scenes kind of style introvert way. We're we're already different. Then the second that we tap in and we believe in that, and we
Yeah.
believe that confidence that, like, yo, I already stand out. I don't necessarily have to do these tricks and trends and everything like that, though I'm very aware of that and I have to
Right.
play the platform game. And so me understanding these trends is going to help me. But I take the trend and I become and I'm the trend and I'm not necessarily becoming the trend. You feel me?
Got
Like I've now taken something that works, added my 2 cents to it, and now it's something new, right? Because I'm adding who I am, right?
you. Hmm.
I always make fun of it. It's like you look at a dancing trend and a person who doesn't necessarily dance starts to dance because you want to be that trend.
Yeah,
You feel me?
I got you.
So it's really no market, I don't believe, no market is completely saturated. The thing is that we follow what we like, we
Yeah.
follow what we want to become. And so then our timeline shows all of that. Mind you, we don't follow more than 7,000 people. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Seven, nine, that let's say you follow 10. I don't know. There's a limit to how many people we could follow, right?
Hmm.
That's not, there's billions of people in the world.
True.
So whatever is in our timeline is probably a 0.3% of what's really going on. So like, and we see it all the time. If we want a car, right? All of a sudden we see the cars are the
Man,
same cars driving. You ain't never seen that car before. You ain't
right.
never seen that car before, especially not in the color that you wanted, right?
Hmm.
Now it's starting to pop up more and more. It's the same thing.
That's
It's
true.
like the things that we like or the things that we want become whatever is always going to pop up more and more and more and more, right? It's still like going back to the car example, I could still get it wrapped. I could change the color. I could
Right.
change the body style. I could change what's happening inside of it, right? Because this is just who I am and I got to put my style to it. So everybody is on uh YouTube. Cool. There's still people that are getting monetized every single day. There are still channels that are reaching over 100K and getting that silver plaque, right? There's people who's reaching a million every single year, right? Whether in a short amount of time or it's finally their time. Same thing with Instagram, right? Same thing with TikTok, same thing with Facebook.
Hmm.
It's not, there's not enough us. You feel me? Like
Yeah.
there's there's a lot of people who are being interested in fitness, but they may not do it the way you do. And so I'm cool with that. Like I even in my industry, there's a lot of people who may talk about content. There may be a lot of people that talk about AI, branding, and everything like that. Ain't nobody breaking it down the way that I am. And I'm aware of that. And it's not on no cocky stuff. It's just like I was just uniquely made.
Right.
And so the same way that like, okay, I saw your intro for the podcast. I'm like, that's fire. Is
Thank
there
you.
many intros to podcasts? Absolutely. Do they look exactly like yours? No. You know what I mean? Is it it's tapping in to the creativity, is tapping into your personality and tapping into who you really were made to be. And the second you tap that into it, everything else falls in place. Content comes very easy when you're like, I know who I am
Yes.
and I know I'm different and I know what I have to offer is different because your confidence doesn't allow numbers to affect you. Your presence doesn't necessarily allow other people to say, nah, everybody else is doing it. Not at
I'm sorry.
all.
Exactly. Exactly. But I appreciate you saying that because there'll be times as a creator myself, I'll be
Mm-hmm.
questioning, okay, I'm in my 50s, I'm a single
Mm-hmm.
mom,
Yeah.
I like doing podcasts.
Yeah.
What is so interesting about me? And I always tell myself, you
Mm-hmm.
got a good attitude and you got a way of landing a point.
Yeah.
So I try to take those uh personality traits about myself and use that as marketing because I don't want to sit up here and act like I'm somebody else. I don't want to sit up
Yeah.
here and have to put on a mask every time I get in front of the camera or the microphone. I just want to be
Yeah.
myself and have a conversation. But you
Yeah.
landed on that earlier. So when you said that, I was like, okay, I am following the rule book somewhat.
Yeah, 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 and it's great. And I love that you mentioned your age because that makes you even more unique. Because unfortunately, as people get older, they feel more limited. They feel like it's too late. You
Right.
know, um, I have somebody who I work with that she's going through the same thing. Like, there's not many over 50 people on YouTube, right? And I remember, I forgot if it was this year or last year, um, where they had like the top creators list, Forbes top creator list, and there was a female who was like over 60, or like 60 or 80 or something like that. Well, one of the two, very drastic numbers, but one of
Right.
the two. She passed. So Asian lady, really dope. She cooked, but because of her age, that made her stand out even more. Where others would be like, no one wants to watch that, no one wants to do this, or like I said, a lot. There's a lot of cooks now. There's everybody chefing it up on social media, right?
Yep.
But because of her age and how consistent she was, and she was on TikTok out of all things, especially for her age, she stood out. So it's like there is an amazing thing even when you get older. It's like it lowers the pool because people, just like how you, I'm 50, like what's special about me? People
Right.
who are 40, I'm 40, what's special about me? Even people in their 30s are like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, how do I tap into the kid side of how I used to be, that didn't necessarily care about what people thought, and I
Yeah.
was just doing the things I wanted to do, and somebody had to be like, "Bow, bow, you can't do that no more. That's horrible," right?
Right.
Like, unless it was extremely bad, I was able to say what I wanted to say and be as creative and myself as I needed to, because I was discovering myself. And that's all
Mhm.
we're doing in the very beginning stages of our social media presence, is discovering ourselves, of what
Definitely.
works and what doesn't, what truly defines our online presence.
I'm glad, I'm glad I got that endorsement for you because, you did say, like I said, age factor does play a big role, at
Yeah.
least in society's eyes, that,
Yeah.
oh, well, you in this category, we really can't rock with you right now because you out of my age element. You may not discuss things that tap on my interest. But while we're getting to the age bracket, you mentioned earlier about being on platforms, not necessarily all of them.
Right.
Out of all the platforms that you see most content creators thrive on, what are your top recommendations as far as platforms?
Um, I could tell you where my concentration is on, which
Okay.
is YouTube, right? I
Yeah.
believe everybody eventually should be on YouTube. One,
Yes.
it is the second largest search engine, right? We're
Yes.
we're intentionally searching for videos on there. We're not just on there scrolling like the other ones. We're
Yeah.
aimlessly maybe finding certain things or not. We're going and we're like, let me find how to create a apple pie. Let me find how to paint a baby room and things like that, right?
Right.
So and the funny thing is, like, I don't know if you hear it, they're just doing yard work. It's crazy. Um
You good.
so I apologize, but um YouTube is allowing, and if you break down how they're doing things now, it's crazy. They have short form content, which is shorts, right?
Yes.
They even extended it up to 3 minutes. So if you do a vertical video, anything from 15 seconds to 3 minutes, you can do that through vertical on shorts. You could do long form videos, anything as far as like 3 minutes all the way to 3 hours,
Yeah.
right? So it's they have a community post where you could type in there too as well. You could do memberships, and going into the revenue side of things and how to monetize, they have the best platform to monetize. They have several different ways. They have uh between crowdfunding, like the fans supporting you, they have super chats, super thanks. They have memberships, so you can grow a community and give them exclusive content. You can open up your shop right there, right? You can, of course, AdSense. That's another ways, and then brands can find you on there, including you being able to be your own ad,
Yeah.
right? For your own products, you're building your own platform. So I do believe from the ultimate goal of, I do believe you every creator should be on YouTube some way, shape, or form for people to discover you, as well as for you to be able to monetize things you were doing for free anyways, right?
Mm-hmm.
The
Exactly.
second one is probably still one of the most trusted is Instagram, with TikTok being kind of up in the air with this whole ban. People are making choices of like where to go,
Right.
right? Instagram still has the strongest community, even though their algorithm is trash. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna act like they're great and you could get the most reach and get discovered. It just has the strongest community.
Yeah.
Uh, and so Instagram is still very much up there. TikTok gives you the best exposure. You can grow a following. It's not as great as maybe a year or two ago, but it's still the best place to get discovered.
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn is a sleeper, especially for those people who are of like a B2B standpoint, right?
Yeah.
Um, that the organic reach over there is great. And then Facebook still is one of the largest, and they're starting to pay a lot.
Yeah.
Uh, I'll do that. But one of my favorites that I didn't mention is Threads. One that's one of my favorite. It has this like new crowd, new great energy. Is not as
Yeah.
toxic as X. I'm not a fan of X. That's just me.
Same,
There's
no,
a lot
same
of
here.
people who do, yeah, there's a lot of people who do great things on X and get the great exposure, and news people still go on X for certain things, and we look at news. But I feel that a really good following, like a genuine following and genuine conversations have been going on Threads that people need to pay attention to.
Yeah, I definitely, because I was still trying to get the hang over
Hmm.
there. I'm trying
Yeah,
to, use the Instagram to automatically post, because I will honestly forget if I don't have something else to schedule it, because I'm trying to get all across the board. But I am focusing more on the YouTube
yeah,
content.
yeah,
Instagram has always been my home, and I'm just not getting back to Facebook, because I was just like, oh, it was just socialization for a moment. I was like, okay, I didn't caught up with all my high school buddies and
yeah,
all that stuff. So I need to have a purpose to be served here.
yeah. I
But
get it.
with all these different platforms, like you said, the YouTube is the biggest one.
Hmm.
How can we create engaging content to keep
Hmm.
people coming back and tuning in? Because you said earlier, 1 minute you might be viral, the
Yeah,
next minute you may have two people in the room.
yeah.
And not saying that you're going to get those numbers every time you broadcast,
Hmm.
but some pointers on how we can keep our audience engaged.
Yeah. So, how to keep people engaged is one of the things off top. Ask them questions, right? Some people are not asking for the engagement. So, before we do any other type of tricks, do you even try to have conversations with your audience? Are you asking questions in in your content, whether it's video or written? Are you putting questions in like your captions to continue the conversation? Like, asking for the engagement is perfectly fine. If you're
Right.
saying something, if you're reacting to something, however you want to go about it, you go, "Hey, what do you think?" Drop it in the comments, right? That's simple, but some people just don't know that. They're like, "Yo, no one's commenting." Well, did
Did
you
you
trigger
ask?
them? Like, did you ask them to do it? Like, some people will still do the one sentence and the picture, and it's like, "Yo, you're not an influencer, dog." Like you're not. I get it.
Right.
You're not an influencer. You're not Travis Scott. You're not any of the Kardashians. You're not. It's not happening. You're not that celebrity person just yet, at least.
Right.
Later down the road, you can. Right.
Maybe.
So
Hmm.
first thing, ask them. Two, when we're talking about videos, your first 30 seconds are super important. Right. First 30 seconds. I would actually even say first 10 seconds.
Mm.
How are you hooking them for them to stay, or are you just telling this random story, right? And hooking them from a what you're saying, hooking them from like a visual standpoint. Is there captions? Is there a title? What's happening on the screen, in
Yeah.
order to be like, okay, can I watch this more, to then give my, yo, this was so valuable, this was so dope, this was so motivating, this made me laugh, I gotta share this, right? And that all happens and determines if I may feel that way in the first 30 seconds, right?
Hmm.
So it really, practicing that with the hook and the first couple of seconds of that is going to help with the engagement. Acknowledgement, right? When you get a really dope comment, or when you get comments, period, please answer all of them. Please stop acting bougie. Answer all of them as much as you can. Okay. Now, I know there's some people who get like hundreds and it's very hard. And I'm not saying like it's not, but as much as you can, especially if you have less than 1,000, like you are not above anybody to not comment. If you only have like 1,000 followers, you only have 2 comments on there. Chill out. Just say hi. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm being honest.
No, but that's true because people like to be acknowledged.
Yes. The big thing is, on these platforms, we need to build a community. The only way we can build a community is making sure people feel seen, heard, and safe. In our content, we have to make sure we get people to feel seen, heard, and safe. A really good hack, especially if you are on any platform, I think all these platforms allow you to do this. If somebody's commenting, and let's say you don't have anything to post, you can actually take that comment and turn it into a video.
I've done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a great way for that person to be acknowledged, right? Because I think of it more of, I concentrate on one person, because the one person is going to tell other people about me. So if I
Yes.
concentrate on the one and I serve that person, I acknowledge that person, I answer all their questions, I'm like, I know their name and things like that. Like, that person's going to be like, yo, Nicky is dope. She's done this. That's why I try as much as I can. If any podcast requests come in, I don't care the size necessarily. Hey, no doubt. Let's do it. Why? Because your platform one time is going to grow, period,
Right.
right? Or at least there's 2 other people who may not know me, right?
Yeah.
I focus on the few, right? I
Hmm.
focus on the few. I don't want to overwhelm myself on the many. You know what I mean? I don't want to overwhelm myself on the many.
Understandable.
It's a huge responsibility. That's a
Yeah.
huge task. I have to what language do I have to speak to everybody? I don't want to know that, right?
Right.
But I want to focus on the few, create the content. Like I said, take a comment. That's a really big hack. And then other people are going to feel safe to ask you questions, safe to comment on you, because they see that you're actually acknowledging, putting it on your stories, taking a few screenshots, or using that feature that will allow you to put it on stories, right? When we're talking about Instagram, we're talking about TikTok, we're talking about Facebook, you can go do that. Take a screenshot, put it on, for my YouTube people, put it on your community tab, right? Have people see that you're acknowledging people, so more people could feel safe to uh to talk to you. Also, use some of the features, such as like polls. Facebook and Instagram have polls. Uh, YouTube on the community tab has polls. You can create engagement by using some of the features right there and doing that.
Yeah.
So those are just some of the things, you know, that you can do to increase engagement. But like testing out anything, I'm big on, I could tell you all the tips, but if you're not looking at your data to see honestly what works, it means nothing, because everybody has like that one outlier in their content strategy. It's like, okay, they're telling me to do all this, but this one thing right here, like lives are still working for me.
Yeah.
Like single posts are still working for me. You may have an outlier. You won't know that unless you look at the data. If you just listen to what people say, take parts of it, try it out, and then really form your content strategy through data, you'll be great.
And that's one thing I know I'm bad at. I need to look more at my data to see
Mhm.
exactly what's hitting. And of course, and I did speak to my audience earlier.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I definitely feel the acknowledgement because I'm the same way. If I go into somebody's live and
Mhm.
even if I just hit a quick, hey, how you doing? Hey, what's going on? So and so and so and so. But when I go into one that don't have no acknowledgement, I'm like, I don't think I'm coming back because
Yeah.
you just feel like, okay, I'm just watching you, and I could be doing the same thing with Netflix,
Mhm. Mhm.
pretty much. But I'm glad you pointed that out because we do make some common mistakes when we're trying to build our brand. Do you know off the top of your head any other common mistakes that we may make when we're trying to engage with our audience?
Besides not acknowledging them, um, I know there's certain. So I'm gonna speak on live, and then I'm gonna speak on other things, right?
Right.
Uh, Lives. Stop waiting for people to come in, right? That is one of those things that we will leave very quickly. You want to acknowledge people, but you want to go straight into the content,
Yeah.
because you also got to think about replay value too, right? People are going to get off the replay because you spend 10 minutes waiting or being like, I will start in a little bit. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, I've done that,
that's,
and I,
yeah.
I'll stop it from now on. No.
Right, right, right. Also, uh, as much as sometimes I have this saying of, uh, I'm not going to acknowledge negativity until I have time, right? Um, but I think the biggest thing for people who don't know how to control their pettiness or
Ooh,
comebacks when somebody is saying something in their comments and they don't necessarily agree with it, just say thank you for your feedback. That's it. Thank you for your feedback. Because one, it will still allow them to feel safe and heard, for them to, because you can't necessarily say, hey, don't say that. It's a freedom of speech type thing. People are going to say
right.
their opinion, right? And honestly, from a number standpoint, you're going to want that opinion, regardless if you agree with it, as long as it's not disrespectful,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Of
Either delete it or say, hey, thank you for your feedback, right? I'm not going to agree with everything,
course.
um, but there's sometimes I do have time, and I will. I've realized that when the comments I don't necessarily agree with, I will ask a question, right?
Gotcha.
I will flip it on. So you're telling me, and I will repeat what the intent was supposed to be and how they took it, right?
Right.
But to go back and forth in a negative way can be negative towards you, right?
Yeah.
Because one, after a certain while of you being consistent, you're going to look like the hero to some people, even though you may not feel like the hero.
Right.
You're going to look like as a hero, even if you post like 2 times. They're like, yo, you've post like you are the expert because you're posting about this, right? So
Right.
how you stand on certain things when you are acknowledging people is being looked at either like, man, I just thought you would let that go, or more of like, if you speak to people like this, I don't feel comfortable necessarily talking in the comments no more.
Right.
So there is a right or wrong way of dealing with those kind of situations. I literally will just say delete it, or just say thank you for your feedback and keep it moving. And I know that's hard for some. I know that's hard for some.
Ooh.
But I'm saying, like, unless you're like strategic petty, okay? Because I will say that I am strategic petty.
I'm
And I'll be like,
trying to
"Hmm,
get that path because I'm not gonna lie to you, Nikki. I got my petty moments, and I'm
yeah,
like, okay, first of all, Michelle, you're too old to be petty. But there's sometimes you're like, you know what? I have adapted what I call creative petty.
hmm,
And my creative petty is taking something that was said. Let's make a quote or a meme out of it, not directly dealing with that person
hmm,
directly, but it make it a motivational point for others. So
yeah,
that's how I use my what I call creative petty.
okay." Hey, as long as you figured out a way, I'm just saying that uh as long as you keep it on brand. Yeah, I mean, like,
That.
you now there's some people on brand is out, like, it's crazy. Cool.
Mhm.
That's your brand. That's your brand, right?
Right,
I'm not gonna knock you. I'm
right.
just saying from a masses standpoint, like, thank you for your feedback.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I'm gonna take that wholeheartedly. I don't get too much of that in my feed, so I'm
Yeah.
thanking goodness that we don't have too much. But if I do in the future, thank y'all for y'all feedback. So if y'all feel like being petty in the comments today, go right ahead. This is your lucky day. Go right ahead.
It's so silly.
But before we wrap this up, Nikki, because I know that you've given so many tips, but with us trying to make viral work for us, how can we avoid burnout?
Mhm. So burnout is such an important conversation for me because I dealt with burnout earlier this year. I've dealt with burnout quite a while, right? Like quite a
Mhm.
lot. Um and so I think I've finally gotten to a phase where I can recognize when it's about to happen and kind of maintain my cool, right? So one thing that I know is you got to take time for self. That's one thing for sure, right? Whether for, I mean, I could tell you my situation, I pray 3 times a day. That makes you stop, right? You got
Yeah,
to stop.
yeah,
So, I go for walks. I got to do some type of like exercise. I'm not in the gym like that. Don't mm-mm. I'm skinny chubby chick. I'm gonna eat crumble cookies. Like, I'm not in the gym, okay? But um I make sure there's some type of exercise, some type of steps, something to that effect to keep the blood flowing, right?
right,
Um I do a bullet journal. I have a bullet journal, so I'm making sure I'm documenting the things that I do, any type of ideas that I have, right? And now I've added the hot cold therapy, which is a sauna and cold plunge. That will make sure that
I'm
any of
about
your
to say,
struggles, any of your overwhelm is not an issue in that time frame. Okay,
right,
so that's what I do, and then I have also boundaries as far as like I'm a night owl, right? So my mornings are different than others, but
right,
I don't necessarily do any type of work before 12, right? That's all me.
right.
Um, so there's a lot of self situation, self care, making sure I'm good so I can get to the creative work, so I can get to building a brand, so I can get to running a business, right? Because if I'm not good, it doesn't all make sense.
Right.
Now, uh, there, of course, systems in order not to burn out. So avoid manually posting if that is one of those things that overwhelms you.
Yeah.
There is tools like Business Suite. if you are focused on Instagram and Facebook solely. Meta Business Suite will allow you to schedule things out for free. You can do later, you can do buffer, you know. Uh, there's different tools that are going to help you schedule those things out, post it all the way out, right?
Hmm.
Um, there's AI tools, uh, ChatGPT, of course, Claude, to help you out with captions, to help you out with copy, to help you out with brainstorming, right? Notion AI is another one that if you use Notion, I love Notion. They have Notion AI and allow you to brainstorm right in there, to take out a lot of the guesswork
Right.
and once again just keep you on track. If you have long form videos and you're like overwhelmed with creating content, put that in Opus Clip. Right, that's one of my favorite AI tools. It'll take your long form content, chop it into vertical videos, square videos, however you, horizontal videos if you want more clips. It's the system that will help you reduce the burnout, because really it's that when we get burnout is we're taking on too much, we're doing too much.
Yeah.
And so we have to, one, acknowledge when that happens and not make us not feel like you're a punk or this is what we have to do, we have to be like your body is checking you
Yeah.
on some, this is the season you need to chill. You can go back to that after you recharge a bit, but you're you're running low and I'm checking you,
Right.
right? And pay attention to when they check you. Like your body is going to do that. I earlier this year, well, literally last year, bottom of last year, I was ignoring it. I would talk about it, right? And I knew what it was, but I was like, I just got to push through it. Boom, 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 boom.
Hmm.
And then I had to let go of the project that was really causing me a true burnout that still affects me even to this day, right? So my next year is going to be amazing because I'm literally taking the time to truly recharge and really knock down what really caused those different, that such of a burnout. But if we're not acknowledging the check, if we're not doing what is going to recharge us, and we're not creating the right systems, we're going to get burned out each and every single solitary time.
No, it's true because my sister stays on me because I'm constantly in front of a device, constantly
Hmm.
working on something because it's a solo operation.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like, okay, well, this got to be done by this time. And and there's moments like I don't even want to look at a laptop, nothing right now because I
Yeah.
am exhausted.
Yeah.
So I am trying to take better care of taking a moment
Yeah.
and getting, just getting a break because I think also when you exhaust yourself, for me, it creates my creativity flow.
Yeah.
It drains that. I'm not even trying to think of a next topic. I'm trying to talk about who do I reach out to for a guest. I don't want to be bothered.
Hmm.
So I am going to take better care of that. But I
Hmm.
do appreciate it, Nikki, because you didn't drop so many gems. I hope to have you back on because there was some other stuff I wanted to cover, but it's going to take way too long. And
Okay.
yeah, and I'm like, I respect people's time. I'm like, let's get
Thank
to
you.
it so we can go on to the next task. So
Yes.
I want to have you back on if you wouldn't mind in the near future
Okay.
to continue with the part two because you got so much knowledge and you guys, the course. Tell everybody about your course that you're offering.
Yeah, I got this 2-day workshop. It's really dope. First day will help you create content for 30 days in like literally an hour. It's so dope. And then the second one is how to truly dominate on Instagram, right? So that's the 2-day workshop. Of course, I got like an AI toolkit, of course, that has also a 14-day challenge that will take you from like idea to like content all with AI. Between those two, you should really be straight. And then you'll get inside of the community. And the community in itself is crazy. Like you'll get a whole, you'll be like, I only paid this and I get all this interaction and engagement and support. And you know what I mean, like there's lives every Friday. We do block parties, virtual block parties. It's really dope. So yeah, that's what I got. You can get that in deeperthanthebrand.com, or an ad after you follow me will hit you. I'm just saying, it will hit you.
No, it will hit you. One thing I admire about Nikki is, besides, the gems she drops for everybody. The course is very affordable. You're going to learn some gems, because I am signing up. I am going to
Mhm.
sign up for that as soon
Come
as I get
on.
these notary studies out the way. But I'm coming, okay?
Yeah,
But I
come
wanted
on.
everybody needs to follow this woman. Tune into her YouTube channel as well as her Instagram. You'll be surprised in just the small amount of time once you enter the room, how
Mhm.
much you learn in a short period of time. Because I know
Yeah.
when I tuned in on your live when you was breaking down the Shannon Sharp numbers and how much
Yeah.
that man made, I was like,
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a
Good
dope,
deal.
live. I do a YouTube live every Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern, and we do some dope things. Right now we're building a brand from scratch using ChatGPT. So the end of the live, we'll talk to ChatGPT, and it gives people ideas of how to talk to ChatGPT themselves about their own brand. So yeah, it's fun. It's I love the YouTube. Yeah, if you go to YouTube, you're gonna get a lot of information. I'm really putting a true concentration on YouTube.
That's what I'm trying to focus on. And I'm definitely going to, hopefully, when I be able to get you back on, we can kind of get more into the YouTube, because a lot of
Yeah.
people are trying to monetize content and everything else of that nature. But that's a whole different beast.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah,
a
yeah,
whole
yeah,
different
yeah.
beast.
Yeah,
Nikki,
hopefully my
thank you
dog isn't.
I'm sorry.
I said, hopefully my dog isn't damn snoring in the next episode. I don't know if you hear him. He is snoring.
I don't hear the dog, but we
Oh,
got dogs
praise
over
God.
here.
Everybody
Yeah.
who follows me, Don Cuddles is doing Don Cuddles things. He is snoring like a grown man. It's really wild. Shout out to really good mics.
Amen. That sound cancellation is a
Yeah, I was like,
lifesaver.
shout out to really good. He's literally like right there snoring mad loud.
You guys go follow Nikki, and we're gonna catch up with Nikki at a later date. Thank you again, Nikki. I appreciate you. I will be tuning in as much as possible, and I will be enrolling in your course.
Come on. Appreciate you.
All right, Nikki, I appreciate you coming on. Nikki Saunders, everybody. Thanks so much for coming on. I hope everybody had their notepads out, because I'm mentally tick, 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 tick. Every time I see Nikki, that's what I mentally do, because when people are offering their expertise, and especially when she gives you guys affordable rates, it does not hurt to enroll and to learn something. My girl, Jules, is always incorporating, take a master class, take a free class. And even if you have to pay a fee, it's worth it, because you're going to get so much out of it. So I know you do, Conflict. I know you do. And I thank you guys, because I was, over here. I had just got back in, but Dr. Candace, D, Jules, my sisters up in the building. I appreciate every last one of y'all. I want to make sure I didn't miss nobody in the comments. And Bad Apples in the building on Instagram, New Quan, Lovable Creations. Lisa was in here. Oh, Sleepy Juno, and Z Dog was in the feed. So I appreciate everybody. So if you guys like the content, new episode is out today on the effects of being affiliated with toxic people. It's a very interesting episode. I want you guys to go peep it. And I give you guys some good gems in that episode, and a couple of examples which let you guys know what I'm talking about. So y'all know, okay, she ain't making this up. So tune in, subscribe on all your favorite podcast platforms. Of course, always follow the YouTube channel, turn on your notifications. And I appreciate you guys sharing and caring. It's been a wonderful hour, but I'm about to calm down, y'all, and get right. All right. So I hope everybody have a great day, and I'll keep you guys posted the next time we have Nikki Saunders on. All right, everybody. Thanks again. Peace.
Talk to me in the shadow, on the street lights on the corner. City vibes got a story, feel the beat.